Let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons, the first place Atlanta Falcons in the NFC South, coming off a big victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think one of the things they made, who obviously was dominating the news during the game, involved running back Bijan Robinson. But I think it was a really smart move the Atlanta Falcons made. Let's go ahead and get into the story first involving Bijan, and then we'll cover the other side of it, of why I think the Falcons made a really good strategic move here. But from ESPN, if you want to pull up the report, Miles, I will read from it. Atlanta Falcons running back Bijan Robinson will, quote, be fine, Coach Arthur Smith said Monday after the rookie was severely limited during Sunday's victory against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Robinson said after the game that he was suffering from headaches and began, quote, feeling weird Saturday night. He struggled to sleep and woke up Sunday, quote, feeling completely out of it. He took medicine to try and feel better, but his head continued to hurt. Robinson said he never considered sitting out Sunday's 16-13 victory, but he ended up playing just 11 snaps with no targets and only one touch, a 3-yard run on the game's last drive to set up Young Hoku's game-winning field goal. All right, so why is this a smart move by the Atlanta Falcons? The answer is very, very simple. Everyone knows that running backs, it's the brutal, God honest truth. They have a very limited shelf life. There seems to be a limited amount of touches, a limited amount of years, which is related to the number of touches that these guys have before their production dips. You've got a guy in Bijan Robinson who looks absolutely spectacular. He looks like he's going to be just an awesome playmaker for years to come. Why would you waste a number of potential touches in a game where he's reportedly suffering from a migraine and won't be 100% anyway? This is smart by Arthur Smith. I know a lot of Falcons fans were like, well, if he's healthy enough to play a few snaps or to get one touch, why are you limiting him at all? I think that was just a situation they found at the end of the game where they wanted to get him one carry just because of who was on the field, personnel, situation, game plan, things like that. I think this was a situation where Arthur Smith looked at Robinson and says, look, dude, you're at 80%, you're at 60%. I'm not going to waste 20 touches on your career for you to play at 60% against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in October. And that's a smart move by Arthur Smith. I think he deserves a lot of credit for handling it that way, because a lot of coaches would not have done that. They would have just said, hey, he's going to tough it out. We'll still treat him like the bell cow top guy we think he's going to be. Great job by Arthur Smith for understanding the running back position, the reality of it, and treating Bijan Robinson accordingly. But Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on Arthur Smith's move and everything with the Atlanta Falcons. But before I hand it over to you, Atlanta fans, look, big win last weekend, but got to look ahead now. You got the Tennessee Titans right around the corner. Titans always a feisty bunch. Obviously, Arthur Smith coming from Tennessee, some familiarity there. Let us know your prediction, Falcons Titans this coming weekend, in the comment section below. But Miles, what do you think of how the Falcons handled Bijan Robinson and everything with that situation?
Yeah, there's a few key things here that I liked. And one being that they used him in crunch time. When it came down to the game, he got him that 3-yard run. Wasn't, like the biggest play in the world, but they trusted him enough late in the game that they went to him. So I think that shows, I really like the fact that even though he wasn't 100%, he said he never considered sitting out. I like that kind of attribute in a player. Although they limit him, they don't give him any touches. If he's ever out there, they use him as a diversion. They put him in the backfield. They never target him, never hand him the ball, as you alluded to. So I think it was really smart how the Falcons treated Bijan, but I also like how Bijan is treating the Falcons by being there, wanting to be involved, all of that, hard work, dedication you want out of a young player that's potentially, I would say, going to be the face of this franchise for a couple of years now. At least in the next couple of years, he's become the absolute face of this franchise. So I like it going both ways. Bijan seems dedicated, seems committed, seems to be the hard worker, grinder, all the things that you want to say about a nice young player. But the Falcons, they don't want to abuse that. They could, you hear all the times about coaches or, front offices being like, well, the guy says he feels good. Let's go ahead and throw him out there. They're taking the player's health first, even though it was just migraine. Wasn't a tweaked knee, wasn't something. They knew the potential if he wasn't feeling 100%, could be cloudy, foggy headed, not seeing the holes right. There's a risk for injury out there. They're not going to risk it. So I like that aspect as well. But I like how they didn't necessarily. This is a good team. They still won without one of the best players on the field. I like that aspect too. This is a Falcon team, came out there, played a gritty, grinded out game against the Buccaneers. They ended up winning on a game-winning field goal, like you said, brought up by Young Hoku. Great drive there as well. I just think there's so much stuff in this game that happened that you got to feel good as a Falcons fan. The team good enough to win without Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson wanted to be there, hard worker, committed, etc., etc. Falcons not abusing a young player, wanting to come in and play, making smart moves. I think all around, this was just a win in every single column for the Falcons here, Nick.
I think you bring up a great point when you talk about, you hear it all the time with some of these players, especially young guys. You hear they say they're being described, they're their own worst enemy in terms of putting themselves in position to, potentially hurt themselves more or aggravate injuries just because they're such competitive guys that want to get on the football field and play right away and don't have a lot of experience yet. Credit to Arthur Smith. Again, the temptation would have been there to sit there and say, hey, look, he seems like he's good to go. He says he's good to go. We'll give him his 15, 20 touches this game, and we'll just let it ride because it's a big game. NFC South, win this game for the Falcons, their first place in the division. You could have seen, 9 out of 10 coaches in the NFL would have been like, all right, he's in the game plan as expected. Instead, they said, look, we're going to take care of our guy. And I guarantee you, that's going to have a big impact in the future when you're talking about free agents, when you're talking about trades, when you're potentially signing Bijan Robinson way down the road to whatever follow-up deal beyond his rookie year. Because you understand that a lot of the relationship that comes down to these players and the coaches and the players in the front office when it's time to negotiate is the mindset of the players like, hey, is this team going to have my back push comes to shove? And right here, the Falcons showed that they're going to have not just Bijan's back, but they sent a message to the rest of the players on the Falcons team, and frankly, the rest of the players in the NFL, that they're not going to put them in positions to hurt themselves more and hurt their potential money-making capabilities more by putting their players in situations to get hurt. Again, doesn't seem like a lot, but this is a really solid cultural move by Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons. And I think as we look forward to the future, look, this season, first place, there's a lot of good things to like. But I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing some other veterans, if you go into the 2023 offseason, 2024 offseason, if the Falcons get some quality veterans at discounts. And you go back to last offseason, the fact that they got Calais Campbell surprised a lot of people, right? Campbell's obviously doing a lot of good things for Atlanta this year. It's because a guy like Campbell, and other guys will see this too, like the Arthur Smith culture and how he treats his players. This is just a great example of that. And I think we're going to see this continue to perpetuate in the future. But again, I want to focus on the main point I have here. You don't waste your running back's touches when he's not 100% if he's a special player. That should be football 101. All guys screwed up. Arthur Smith didn't. Credit to him. And I think the Falcons will continue to succeed because of that.